All right, everyone. How are you? Katie, hello there. How are you?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Hello.
All right. Judith still connecting, but joining us. Emma, Michal. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yes.
was afraid I was going to get it wrong. Awesome. Beth, great to see you. Candy, great to have you here. Barbara, hello. Emma, Cindy, Punam. Welcome to November's practice hour. It's great to see you all. Um, so you all know the practice hour brought to you in collaboration with the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. I have two announcements to make. Okay. First, um, this January, we are going to be running again vision process and quick watercolor studies. It was a big hit last year. We got a nice big group and we used quick watercolor studies, so like 20, 25 minute sketches in watercolor to jumpstart our creative practice in the new year. So if you or someone you know wants to get into watercolor or sort of have like a refresher in watercolor, this is an excellent program that I'll be leading with the Marchutz School in January. All right, it's 4 weeks. Um, and I have a whole bunch of different exercises planned to get you to paint a little more expressively, connect with your vision, and not get too hung up on details. All right, so I'll be sharing a link for that. And I want you all to know that, we're doing it again. Um, I think I think already less than we're more than half sold already. So less than half the spots are left. So if you want to act on it, act soon, or think about getting it for a friend or a family member this holiday season. The thing that I'm really excited to share with you all, though, I'm excited for this. Don't get me wrong. Quick watercolor studies is a grand old time. But what I'm really excited to share with you all is for my friends in the DC area. I'm so thrilled that we'll be able to do it this year. But, oop, come on. There we go. All right. So, the practice hour, the live edition at the National Gallery in Washington, D.C. will be coming back. Okay. I'm pleased that the museum is able to open again. Um, so
Is that by Zoom or in person?
this is in person. This is basically what we do here, but we do it in the museum. So we meet on
Hmm.
a Sunday morning, all right? I scout out a couple rooms ahead of time, and we all sort of scatter and find a piece that inspires us and work on it for a little bit. This year, we're going to work for 90 minutes. Last year, I was still experimenting with the program, so we only did 60 minutes. But we'll work for 90 minutes this time, okay? In a couple galleries in the museum of my choice. And then we get together in one of the courtyards and just share all of our work, look at what we've done. And it's always fascinating to see how other people are sketching, drawing, what they're inspired by, what they're interested in. So yeah, it's just a great time for me to see you all in person, or those of us in the DC area, because yeah, I'm over here in Dublin all year long. And since I am coming home for the holidays, and because the museum is going to be open, I figured we'd hold one of these again. So, friends in the DC area, we will be meeting Sunday, December 7th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay. Um, my my partner Rose, executive director of the Marchutz School, will make an RSVP link, okay, that you all should keep an eye out for. I will definitely be sending that RSVP link for this practice hour in my practice memos, which will go out maybe sometime around Thanksgiving. So if you haven't already, sign up for practice memos on my website, which I'll give you a link for in just a minute. But I'm so happy to be, yeah, coming back home for a little bit and able to spend some time sketching with you all in the museum. All right. So for today's image, breakfast this morning, my wife comes to me and tells me that she signed up for a ballet class, okay, which is just her running nickname for her bar Pilates class, which is her favorite class at the gym she goes to. So I during breakfast to keep up that momentum and that vibe, I started playing the Nutcracker while we were eating, and I've been listening to the Nutcracker all day long. And while deciding what I was going to share with us today to practice on, I figured, all right, let's go for, oh, excuse me, I'll do that later. Let's go for some of Degas' dancers. All right, seems only appropriate. So you all get to work. All right, this is the image we'll be working on for the next hour. Whether you're working in pencil, whether you're working in watercolor, pastel, whatever it is you are inspired to work in, this is our image for the day. All right. While you're getting started, I am just going to read the guidelines and reminders for our practice hour. The practice hour is an opportunity for us practicing artists to get some practice. It's not a class. I do not have a lesson planned. When working from a masterwork like this, the goal is not to make a forgery. All right. I want you to have your own experience with the masterwork and practice putting it together according to whatever key relationships and essential elements you see. Make your own parallel image with your own unique touch. It can still be an opportunity to learn. I will be sharing insights about my process as the session unfolds. If watching my work will, oh, no, we don't do that anymore because I use my document camera. Feel free to ask me questions, all right? However, if you don't have anything you want to share or ask, I kindly ask that you remain muted just to eliminate any background noise. And likewise, if you're in the zone and just want to work, feel free to mute me. Special thank you to our returning participants who regularly contribute. We're happy to offer this monthly online practice hour at no cost to our community. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation to support the mission of the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. All right. So, due to this asking, is December at the National Gallery on December 7th, or was that last year's date? That's not last year's date. In fact, we didn't do it last year. We did it this year. We did it in March because that's when I was home. So December 7th is the 2025 date. Um, you have me noted on December 14th because that's when the online practice hour will be. So even though I'm doing the special edition in-person practice hour at the museum, I'm also going to provide just a regular online practice hour like we're doing right here on December 14th.
Oh, okay. So the December 7th was what time?
10 a.m., right when the
Okay.
museum opens.
All righty, Didy.
Oh,
Thanks.
yeah, of course. All right. Okay, I'm going to get my camera and materials ready, and then I will join you all. Oh, no, but actually, before I do that, let me pop these in the chat. So coming in the chat for you right now are 3 links. There we go. So quick watercolor studies. A link to my website just to be sure that you're signed up for practice memos. I'll also mention there are other resources for you available on my site. Um, if you want, um, If you're looking for individualized, personalized feedback and you want a taste of what it's like to work with me one-on-one, you can also sign up for a free mini critique on my website. You'll find that just at the bottom of the page that you land on when you go to it. And at the top, you'll see where you can sign up for practice memos, which is where you will get the RSVP link for the live edition practice hour on December 7th. And then finally, last link will be to support the Leo Marchutz School. Boom. All right, so 3 links in the chat for you all. Feel free to click on them and minimize the window so you can visit them later. Now I'm going to get my stuff ready. I'll join you all. Excuse me. All right, everyone. So I am going to just for 2 seconds, I'm going to remove the image and then come back with my desk. So boom, and content only, great. So here's the image on the left and pop this on the right. I'll make this just a touch smaller. There we go. All right. So for this practice hour, I'm partly inspired by a couple things. I'm in the middle of a watercolor season right now, meaning I'm teaching a lot of watercolor classes. And there we go, that's nice. And one of them is called Essence Over Detail with the Smithsonian, which some of you may be participating in right now. And this is actually one of the images we did on the very first week. Also Degas dancers, but I gave my students only 20 minutes to work on this one, right? And I wanted to do this one with them. Um, Sometimes I like to jump in my classes and do the exercise with them. And I was really pleased with what came out here. I used a lot of wet technique here. Um, Actually, I think I remember asking them to do this one upside down. So I wanted them to just connect with what they see, not worry too much about, oh, what does a dancer look like? Can I make a dancer? I turned the image upside down on the screen for them and made them paint it, and I painted it upside down. And this is what I came up with. And I was really happy with it. I love it when an image comes out looking like it can be done in one breath, in a way. Um, so I'm going to stick with this spirit for this month's practice hour. Also, it's also very much in the spirit of quick watercolor studies, the class I'll be doing in January. Things are short, things are quick. You have to zero in on what is essential. While you're working, you have to focus on keeping things whole and balanced throughout the image. And it really focuses your eye, trains your eye to discern what are key relationships happening in the image and sort of translating them into your own painting. There's not a lot of stopping and thinking. So I've cut down some paper um, to be sort of these little half sheets here, okay? And I think what I'm gonna do is just a few quick um, studies of this image. That's how I'm gonna be practicing today. So I'm actually going to zoom in a touch because I have so much space here. All right, very good. And yeah, we'll just go like this. That's fine. Right. So for these, I'm going to use primarily wet technique, and I'm just going to start getting a square wet in the center of my paper. My paper isn't square, but I can still just, practice a square format inside my paper. I'll admit, going into this, I was feeling a little bit lazy, and I was like, you know what? I've been watercoloring so much, and I have a lot more watercolor teaching to come, even in December and January. Sometimes when I get watercolored out, I like to balance things out with a little bit of drawing. But when I saw this image and I decided, okay, this is the one to do. So much of this depends on the color. So I thought, okay, no, no, no. Let's do this. Let's do this in watercolor. Mhm. All right. So I'm just gonna start dropping in some color where I see it. I know I'm gonna do this a few times, so I'm not really gonna worry about getting things perfect. I just want to have a little bit of an experience here, getting some colors down. I'm starting with green. It seems like a pretty light value in my very quick assessment of this. So again, I'm just trying to follow where the green is going. Leave the white spaces where I see them. And I'll be prepared to, make adjustments as I need to along the way. But as I'm working here, I can already tell I really want to start getting some orange in to help sculpt everything that my green is doing here. All right, so let me switch up a little bit. Get me an orange happening. A little bit of red, a little more red in my orange. Let's play up this relationship between red and green here. Okay. And definitely some orange. Look at this. That hair right here on this dancer on the right. Rather dark and orange. I'll work up to the dark as I go, but I want to get that in there. Let's see if I can remove the glare a little bit. Boom. There you go. All right. So while it's still moist like this, I want to keep going. I'm going to switch to a slightly smaller brush. And geez, I think I'm going to keep building up the reds and the oranges. Again, I'm trying to work quick here. I'd love to get two, if not three, of these little ones done today. So as soon as my eye sees a color, I'm dropping it in there. Seeing a beautiful interplay of blue and orange as well, sort of in this bottom third. There's all those blue marks there. I don't know if I'm going to get that at this stage in my painting. I think I'm going to have to wait until things dry and sort of add that blue dry on top if I want to get that separation. If I paint it now, the blue is going to blend with the orange there and turn into a gray. That's not quite what I want. All right, now I'm going to come in with some of the blue. Looking at my image, I really feel like the top needs to be a little bit darker. So we start bringing some darker values and colors into this piece. All right, let's keep going with the blue. I'm trying to take advantage of well, I thought I had some moist parts of this image still, but it looks like those are softening up. I mean, those are drying up, so I'm not getting quite the marks that I wanted, but so be it. See how dark these are turning out down here? I'm not going to be able to get that beautiful pastel blue that Degas has in his work because that blue is blending with all of the orange underneath it. So those parts haven't dried, but that's okay. So now I find myself sort of following the contours, the parts that need to be darker in this image that sort of outlines the bodies. It's pretty typical for me to do contours and outlines last because I don't like putting them everywhere. I just like choosing which contours I think are really necessary to articulate the shape and the form. All right, again, still working on my contours here. Just trying to shape this head. All right, what might come next is a little bit of scrubbing. All right, so we'll take some clean water. In my brush and try scrubbing out some of the lights that I need to bring back. So this foot down here, for example. So again, here I'm just using clean water and my brush to scrub away parts that I need to be light again. So there's a hand here. For now, that may work. Hmm. Right, getting there. Tough stuff. I think I'm gonna take just a little bit more. I want to build up some of the greens that I started with. They don't quite, they're not quite the value that I need them to be. But at the same time, don't want them to be so articulate. I want them to have a little bit of that diffuse quality to them. Get a little more water here, and I could layer in, I could drop in some colors, some nice earthy tones to get that darkness that's there. we go. All right, I think I'm going to switch this one out soon and try one more. Hmm. Just leave it like this for now, especially if I want to get one more in. Not bad, however. All right, so take two coming up for me. Clean off my brushes. Especially the big one I'm about to use. And I'm actually going to start this sort of spraying a square into my paper. And then spreading it evenly with my brush. All right. Um, so I'm gonna go with green again. I'm gonna try to be a little more. I think I was really trying to be careful last with my first study about really trying to be careful with my first study about protecting the white areas, and I think I'm going to be a little less careful this time. And if my color smothers any of the white, I'm just going to lift it up with my paper towel. So yeah, instead of working around those shapes so preciously. I just want to get these colors on there. Especially because you saw me do the scrubbing last time. That was really effective. I could rely on that to bring back any any light that gets smothered here. Switch to some orange. So here I am, blocking in the head of that dancer in orange and trying to bring some to the background as well. All right, let's keep going. Lift out a couple parts right now. Go. All right, I still don't feel ready for blue. I don't know, that might be a mistake, but that's what my gut is telling me right now. So I'm gonna start and continue developing this just by value. So I'm gonna mix up something rather earthy. There we go. Just start darkening up the parts that I see need to be darker. And I love working while it's still moist like this. Really keeps things nice and diffuse. And to me, that helps my image stay nice and cohesive. So just slowly working my way around the image, pushing values a little bit darker as I see they need to get darker. This is actually really beautiful how these dances are emerging out of this. I'm really liking that. Let me see. Let me take a minute. So let's plan on working for about 10 more minutes, everyone. All right? Just so we're aware of time. I'm gonna zoom in just a touch more. Take a second. All right. So I'm doing sort of a last pass, trying to bring some values into balance as best as I can while we're wrapping up. see how far I get. All right, everyone, just a couple more minutes with this image. I'm trying to do my best to bring it home, but let's see what comes out of this. All right, everyone, how about one more minute left with this image? And then I'll take a quick group screenshot of our work. You know, They're in there. Both of the dances are in there. Just, I feel much better about this one than my first one. Let's see if I can get these edges a little bit darker. There we go. All right, everyone, wrap up the part of the image that you are working on. I think I'm going to leave this like this. Whew. All right. Let me zoom out of this real quick. Whew. All right, I will have to live with that. All right, everyone. I'm going to pull this away. Actually, before I do, Judith already brought it up, but the next online practice hour will be December 14th. Okay, again, you'll get the Zoom registration link signing up for my practice memos on my website. So be sure to click on that link in the chat and make sure you're signed up for practice memos. That along with the RSVP link for the live practice hour at the National Gallery of Art in DC on December 7th. Whew, all right. Let me pull this away. I'd love to see your work and grab a little screenshot. And then we can call it a morning well spent. Margaret knocked out two. Check you out. Very nice. Nice work, Judith. Beautiful colors there. All right. Yeah, I see it now, Beth. Nice work. All right, everyone. Oh, Michelle, beautiful shadows. I love the softness. Looks like you were working in pastel or colored pencil or something like that. All right, keep them up, everyone.
Pastel, yeah.
Pastel, beautiful. All right, let me take one more real quick. Keep them up, everyone. All right. Excellent work. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this month's practice hour. Click the links right now if you haven't already, so you have them opened up on your computer and you can visit all the information on them later. Keep an eye out for my practice memo to go out sometime, maybe this week or the week of Thanksgiving. You're very welcome, Beth. And I look forward to seeing you next month, either in person or right back here online. All right. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Nick. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This was wonderful. Thank you.
My pleasure. Ciao.